Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Great show planned for today. I'll give the squad a chance to show up. In the meantime, y'all know I'm going to play some music. But first, we're going to have a conversation about something that occurred today that left fans asking, what happened? Hey, Gracie, welcome. Hey, Gracie. So you got a chance to join us today. Of course, we've missed you, but we understand we're here every day. So we're glad to have you today. All right, so I'm gonna put on some music. Then we're gonna hop and get into an intro. I have a video for today. All right. All right. So we're just gonna vibe out a little bit. Let everybody. Long day for some people. I did a lot of running around today, moving about. So just give everybody a minute to get some snacks, decompress, chill out, so we can vibe tonight. As always, I ask drop in the chat how you feel. Drop an emoji to let everybody know how you feel. If you're sad, you need a hug, let us know. We'll give you a virtual hug. I'll see if I can find. Let's see if I can find an emoji. Let's see. All right. So, I don't know if y'all watch Come and Talk to Me with Cam Ron. There's so many Cams out here. I have to think. Like Cam Ron, Silver Craig, Cam Ward, Cam Ron, the rapper, right? Is on a show with Mace, known as Come and Talk to Me. And I get the feeling this happened on today's show. And I used to watch it like all the time in the morning, but my schedule's changing a bit. So I wasn't able to watch it, right? And it seems that the conversation subject regarding Ocho Cinco, y'all know Ocho, is on the show with Shannon. And let's see, I'll just put the video up and stop it when it gets to that part. He's on a show with Shannon, you know, Ocho, Unc and Ocho. That's Ocho and Shannon, okay? Apparently these two, well, I'm not gonna say these two don't like each other, but after this clip today, that's going viral, I'm not showing the clip, I'm just showing the people we're talking about. Cameron is on the left, Ocho is facing my right. And I guess, you know, Ocho's having a conversation with Stephen A. And the conversation that they were having, people really couldn't tell, one, if Ocho was trolling. Because, see, Ocho likes to troll. And this is my intro story. We're waiting for the squad to show up. So, Ocho likes to troll. So, people don't know if he was trolling or not. But it seems like he's putting it out there that he had a particular surgery, right? Like, you know, they say some guys get their calves done, like a calf raise. They get their calves done. Some people accuse a popular rapper who just got bodied by Kendrick Lamar of having his abs done, his abdominals. So there's another part of the anatomy that Ocho was talking to Stephen A about on Stephen A's show. One, they don't know if he's serious or not. He very well could be, but nobody knows if he's serious because he trolls so much. And the show Come Talk to Me, the question, I think they call her Stat. She's the moderator. So y'all know how you have Molly on ESPN? Stat is on Come and Talk to Me. So of course she brought up the topic and then she asked the question, you know, what do y'all think about that? That's how their show gets started. And Mace deferred to Cameron. He said, I'm gonna let Cameron give you his thoughts on how he feels about Ocho having his surgery. We don't know whether Ocho had the surgery or not. Again, he can be trolling. And then Cam just unleashed. So apparently, it's safe to say that Cameron does not like Ocho. at all. And it seems to stem from Ocho saying when they started come and talk to me, they got it out the mud. They started it with all hustle. They didn't have any sponsors or anything. And it's not easy starting these podcasts. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. And so they started their own podcast with just them. And then, they have sponsors now. It's huge. They have Mike Irvin is like a consistent guest analyst of theirs. Mark Jackson for basketball. Because remember, Mace and Cameron are not athletes. They're rappers. So what did they do? They said, you know what? We're going to get some of the best athletes and legends, basketball and football respectively, to come and be analysts for us. So that's what they did. And I think when the show started, Come and Talk to Me started, it seems that Ocho got wind of it, and Cameron seems to believe that Ocho was putting him down like, hey, I think I'm going to go and do something like this and blow up and kick you out your spot. And Cameron just took it very personally. And people in the comments are like scratching their head like, huh? Like, Cameron, if you mad about Ocho saying something to you, you either don't know Ocho or, this is about something else. So, long story short, fans are telling Cam to calm down. He goes on about how he picked up the phone and called Ocho to see if Ocho wanted to be like an analyst on their show, like come work for them. And I don't know where Ocho was in the process with Shannon, but he was like, don't talk to me, talk to my agent. Well, he didn't say don't talk to me. He just blew him off and told him go talk to my agent. I don't make these decisions. So that's what Cameron is upset about. I think Cameron is upset that Ocho treated him like a peasant, like a stranger, like he's not Cameron. So yeah, he has some things to say. And I just put a picture of these two up here because y'all likely heard about it already. But the comment sections were like, what happened? So I think that it's a twofold situation here. I don't really think Ocho meant anything by it, by saying, hey, I'm going to come kick you out your spot. I think that was playful banter. But I do believe that Ocho brushing off Cameron when he had a question, when Cameron was like, hey, why don't you come be analyst or come and talk to me? They hired these people. They didn't ask them for a favor. Like Cameron is saying, go ask Mike Irvin how much he go get paid. Go ask Michael Vick. I think he got offended when Ocho blew him off. So maybe Ocho need to call up Cameron and straighten it out because he is hot. He is hot. So much so that it caught my attention and I didn't even see their show today. I actually do watch their show. I watch segments of it. I used to watch the whole show, but I just don't have the time now. So I do watch the shorts. And that came past me today, and I started looking at the comments because I was confused as well. And I sure hate that for them to be fighting like that. So, well, Cameron to be so upset. So hopefully Ocho can straighten that out. All right, so that's just what we're starting What She Said podcast today. Hopefully the brothers can, get together and work this out because nobody wins when the family feuds. How about that? All right, let's see who's in the comments. Hey, D. Johnson. James said, good evening. Ocho been hired by NFL Network for years before he teamed up with Shannon on Nightcap. Okay. So like I said, I think it's more of, thank you for that, James. I think it's that Cameron is offended that Ocho blew him off when he reached out to Ocho to ask Ocho if he would be interested in working for Come and Talk to Me podcast. But yeah, he had some things to say. So anyway, I just wanted to start a podcast with that. Hopefully the brothers get it together. Like I said, nobody wins when a family feuds. And I feel like we all family to a certain degree. So, hopefully they can straighten that out. All right. So let's go to our topic of the day. The NFL Combine Press officially started today. More names coming out about who's not working out. Abdul Carter seems to not be working out. Now, I've heard two sides of a coin when it comes to Cam Ward. First, it seemed like Cam and Shedeur are not working out. Now, it seems that Cam might be actually working out. So, I don't know what Cam got going on. But Abdul Carter's not working out. Shedeur Sanders not working out. And it was so funny. I found, of course, you meet me. I went back and did research. And I went to look to see what the commentary of the day was when Jaden Daniels set out. and what the commentary was about Brock Bowers when he set out Marvin Harrison Jr. Caleb declined the medical part of it, right? So I just went back to look, and it was funny how this one who people hold in high esteem, one of the original commentators of NFL football. His name is Aaron Schatz. I think he was the guy that was saying that out of the quarterback class with Jaden Daniels, there's going to be a good quarterback and there's going to be a not good one, a bad one. He picked Jaden to be the bad quarterback. And I guess he got a lot of flack for it. So he came back and clarified, which I say is cleaned it up in this case. He said, well, it might not be on him that he's a bad quarterback. So y'all know how we had those conversations talking about Mace basically saying the same thing, except for he didn't say who was going to fail and who was going to succeed. He just said, based on who goes to the Raiders, they're probably going to be good as a quarterback, and who goes to the Giants, they're probably not. I think that's what the Aaron Schatz guy was saying, but he actually chose who wasn't going to be good. And I think that's where he got a lot of blowback from. So he cleaned that up. I didn't see much about Brock Bowers. People did have issues about, like I said, Marvin Harrison Jr. But this one guy with the Cardinals, I think he's like a beat writer for the Cardinals, he said this shouldn't even be breaking news. He said it's so common for the elite athletes, like I said, the top 5, not to work out, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. He said that's normal. So if Cam doesn't work out, it's normal. We know Shedeur not working out. We know that that's normal. But there was some ugliness yesterday, and it seems to have been cleaned up today as well. And I'm not surprised, because the gentleman that made one of the ugliest comments works for ESPN, and I told y'all that's Stephen A. shop. So I knew that he was gonna come back. Either he wasn't gonna be there today, and somebody's gonna have a talking to him, or he was gonna straighten it up, and he straightened it up. So yesterday people were losing their minds, predicting Shedeur was going 21. Saying that the NFL is not looking for somebody like Shedeur, yada, yada, yada. And several people beside myself, we spoke on this yesterday, took offense to it, right? In addition to myself, Coach Prime has something to say. So one of the first clips in this video is actually, what Coach Prime said. I'm gonna have to read it on my phone. I don't know if y'all can see it, but or I might be able to see it. Coach Prime said, today everyone wants attention and everyone has an opinion. When did they come to the conclusion that their opinion mattered? Their opinion ain't based on knowledge of subject or experience. It derives from their shortcomings. Don't allow them to matter to you at all. Now, I feel like that was a message from father to son. Yesterday, as I was going into my fridge to get something to eat, after we had our podcast, I said to myself, I hope Shedeur doesn't let all this talk get to him, because it was a lot yesterday. And I want y'all to understand something. Now, we already talked about the changes that are coming and, the way the majority will look going forward when it comes to QBs. So understand this. All of this commentary that was taking place yesterday, dropping Shedeur down to number 21, I told y'all, this guy was like, I am not a Prime fan, but his son will not be there after the Raiders because he's a good quarterback. In other words, I'm objective enough to say I don't like his dad, but he's a good quarterback. I want y'all to understand those stories that were written, the podcasts that were recorded and dispersed yesterday, and this guy using the ESPN platform to use this dog whistle. And y'all know what the dog whistle is about. That's all coordinated. That was a collaborative effect. That was a collaborative event. Like, there were people probably with text chains. Hey, we're going to put this out here by Shedeur, this, that, and the other. We're going to either humble him or, we don't think he should go first. Whatever their reasoning was for it is not my concern, but I know they collaborated. Because today, none of it. And if they truly felt that way independently, they would still be talking about it. So I felt like when Coach Prime issued his comment, and Bucky had something to say too, that these analysts are trying to hurt Shedeur draft stock. Now, see, that opens up another can of worms right there. So, as an analyst, you're just supposed to report the facts, and if you want to give your opinion, but should it be damaging to another person? No. So somebody came in my comment section, and I think James was one of the comments that saw what this other person wrote. They said, well, because I posted Coach Prime's comment on my post, and it was like, well, if comments aren't good or whatever, or people shouldn't be giving a comment, they were like, why are you giving yours? I said, you do understand that context matters. Context matters. If you're giving a good opinion and you're uplifting someone, you're encouraging someone, or you're defending someone, or you're standing up for someone, that's what you're supposed to do. But by no means are you supposed to wield your opinion as a sword to damage another individual and conspire with others to make sure y'all's collective voice is heard because you don't like the changes that's coming to the NFL, or because you don't like this person because he's young, black, wealthy, and educated, or because you got up on the wrong side of the bed. Who cares the rationale? There is none. That's irrational. And to try to make a collective voice to damage a football player's stock is a problem. And it signals that this is not about football anymore. So that's why I posted it. That's why I issued my opinion. So for the person that asked, there you go. So, essentially, Bucky has something to say. Shedeur Coach Prime has something to say. I feel like Coach Prime's message was to a son, like, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. And honestly, it really doesn't matter which son it was for, because we know Shiloh was getting dragged as well. But yesterday, it was like an onslaught of hatred towards Shedeur. So today, it was none of it. I feel like people are trying to backpedal a little bit. And one story that I saw basically was like, well, since Shedeur and Cam aren't going to be there, in other words, it's like somebody called a meeting and said, okay, look, guys, it's like they had a team meeting somewhere. And they were like, look, guys, it's not uncommon for players not to be at the combine. The combine is not even mandatory. So we need to lay off of these damaging takes to try to punish someone because they're not going to throw at the combine. That's perfectly fine. If you go back and look at the record of who did and who didn't, then this makes us look as if we're trying to harm someone. I'm pretty sure that happened. I'm pretty sure it did. Because today's tone is totally different. Well, with Shedeur and Cam not throwing, that gives Jackson Dart time. Now, again, I don't know if Cam is throwing or not, but somebody thinks that the floor belongs to Jackson Dart. I'm like, hello, Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord. Why y'all not talking about them? Why not? And you think they will be talking about Jalen Milroe because he's an SEC quarterback, and we know how much they love the SEC. But no, with Cam and Shedeur out the way, they're like, oh, more time for Jackson Dart to be seen. I'm like, he was in the Senior Bowl. Like, where was he not seen? So I feel like the other guys are getting snubbed. So this leads me to my part that I want to talk about. Players that could benefit from the combine. Because we know, I said yesterday, for people like Shedeur, who's elite, Jada Daniels, obviously elite, Marvin Harrison Jr., elite, Brock Bowers, same thing, elite. They didn't need the combine. We said that time, as a podcast, we agreed that time could have went to some other players. Some of those invites could have just gone to 5 players that were truly deserving. That's how I feel. And I think we talked about that yesterday on the podcast. So today I wanted to talk about, in part, players that could benefit from going to the combine that actually were invited. So for instance, let's talk about Travis, okay? Before we do that, I'm gonna check the comments, but we're gonna start with Travis. Said this tonight. What? Oh, said this last night. Yeah, people are really, and I told y'all yesterday, people were really concerned about, the hatred towards Shedeur, because again, it's like they were trying to damage his stock, and that was the point of all of their collective voices coming together and being so loud. and it backfired. Just like a lot of other things are backfiring right now. Because everybody's not with it. I said I'm not here for it. There's a lot of people that are not here for it. The hatreds for Shedeur. We've been talking about this. It's just rotating from this group to this group, but they all seem to work at the same place. That's the one thing I noticed. I am so sick of the haters and hypocrites. Exactly. Like, why you just can't let this young man, leave him alone? Why are you so focused on him? And conversely, on the opposite side, why do you think that Jackson Dart is the only quarterback that can benefit from Cam and Shedeur not being there? Have we said he's the third quarterback? No, it's really Jalen Milroe. See, that's what I mean by them preferring an athlete. Oh, so for whatever reason, Jackson Dart seems to be the favorite of certain analysts. Not all. Certain, because I've heard some analysts say that Jackson Dart shouldn't be that high like that. There's some analysts out there that have him in the third or the fourth round. So for them just to stuff Dylan Gabriel away and dismiss Dylan Gabriel, dismiss Quinn Ewers, dismiss who just won the Natty, Will Howard. I told y'all that was a head scratcher for me. Why they had him in the third? They had him an undrafted free agent, and this man just won the Natty. So since he won the Natty, he bumps up to the fourth round. Is that what we doing? And somehow they've taken a shine to Jackson Dart, and they just want it to be him, whether it's him or not. That's just a Daniel Jones scenario all over again. Zeroing in on somebody because you like them or something about them that you prefer to have them be in this particular spot. No, it don't work like that. And I don't know where Jalen Milroe is, but he need to pop out. He need to pop out somewhere. I have seen him nowhere. So he needs to pop out. But because you see what they're doing. And it's sad because here's the thing. You can like Jackson Dart all you want to. You can think whatever you want to think about Jackson Dart, but his talent's going to speak for itself. But what you don't get to do is tear down Shedeur Sanders so you can elevate Jackson Dart. That's what we not going to do. And I think that became very clear overnight that we're not here for that. Congratulations to Jackson Dart on wherever he lands. I don't even care if it's third to the Giants. I actually predicted that. But we not going to sit by and let these so-called analysts and so-called experts tear down Shedeur Sanders because they like Jackson Dart. They're going to have to move around with that. And I think they got the message. Hey, Kiel, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, one of the players, starting with Travis, I thought about it yesterday after we talked. I said, well, there's really no benefit for Travis to do the combine because why? We know who Travis is. I said, it's not like I believe that any workout he does is pretty much going to convince any team to let him play both sides of the ball because they've already seen what he could do and they still feel like it's a liability because why? Travis is one person. If he get hurt, they lose two people. That makes sense, right? The stakes are higher in the NFL. The game is more physical. So the chances and the likelihood of getting injured because of the more snaps you play is more likely. So I understand the NFL's position. So I said, well, I think that Travis going to the combine really gives him good press after all of the negative press he, sustained. And now he gets a lot of good press, people looking at him and talking about his skill set rather than his relationship. So it's kind of a recovery, in my opinion, when it comes to, his reputation. And then I said, he also, too, could kind of show, this is what I was thinking after we concluded yesterday. I said, you know what? It would be good for Travis to show off his wide receiver skills more than anything. And for them to walk away with the same sentiment that the former Jets scout thought. We talked about this the other day. What did I say? I said the guy who was a scout for the Jets said Travis is a better receiver. And I said the actual terminology is Travis is a more impactful wide receiver than he is corner. He's good on both sides of the ball. But in terms of getting the most impact from his abilities, if he can only play one way full-time plus packages, he should go into the draft full-time as a receiver because for the team, it is more impactful for them. Look at all the touchdowns he had. Look at all the catches he had. He's more impactful that way. And then for himself, You get paid better as a wide receiver than you do as a corner. So Travis, if you ever see this, I know you're gonna work out both days, corner than wide receiver, but you want that wide receiver money. So good luck to you. What do y'all think about that? Travis being able to use the time at the combine, even though he doesn't need to prove himself, to highlight and stand out as a wide receiver when everybody in the league sees him as a corner. But there is a scout or two out there that see him as a wide receiver, knowing the money is better as a wide receiver, that this is where he pivots. And they're like, you know what? He is good on both sides of the ball. But you know what? We think we can win more. He's more impactful as a receiver. Let's take him as a receiver. That's a win-win for Travis. That's a win-win for Travis. And he gets packages as a corner. And I can understand that we can even talk about that in the future, how crucial he would be, you know, on certain downs or at certain positions in the game. So let me know what y'all think about that. Travis standing out as a receiver and NFL folks from the combine realizing that he's more impactful as a receiver, him going to the draft as a receiver and being paid as a receiver. So y'all let me know your thoughts about that. And let's see. Is there anybody in the combine that y'all think, we already talked about Cam and Ocho. Is there anybody in the combine that y'all think could benefit from the combine? Like, okay, as misguided as it was to say, oh, with Cam and Shedeur not throwing, that works out for Jackson Dart. So I'm going to just go with the quarterbacks because I wanted to talk about Travis because he's a Colorado Buff or was a Buff. But I really was focused on quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is one person, in addition to Travis, that I believe could use this time to show who he is because, for one, they don't talk about him. It's like they just dismiss him altogether. And two, he was scapegoated. He was clearly scapegoated, and they didn't even talk about how Alabama dismissed their offensive coordinator and how horrible their play calling was and this, that, and the other. So Jalen Milroe is one quarterback with Shedeur and Cam not throwing or Shedeur not throwing. I think this is the opportunity for Jalen Milroe to get out front and center at the combine and shake off that being scapegoated and have people going, hey, he's good. You know what I'm saying? That's who I think could benefit because I really felt like after we saw Cam and Shedeur and how effective it was for Cam and Shedeur to be in front of the camera, whether it was a playful banner or throwing, we just could see how great they were as quarterbacks and how even they were as quarterbacks at certain times of their workout. So I suggested at that time, Jalen Milroe needs to do it. I still have not seen Jalen Milroe. So therefore, I think the combine is where he needs to go and try to up his draft stock. He's supposed to be 3, but they keep trying to push him down. So I think the combine works for Jalen Milroe. So y'all let me know. Anybody y'all think that you know is going to the combine that could truly benefit from, hey, you know what? I think my draft stock could go up if I do this. Kiel said, let's see. He'll probably get a few looks with the wideouts in those catching drills. Right. Talking about Travis, right? So, yeah, that's what I was hoping. So, for me, I'm hoping that they walk away with an understanding that Travis is actually more impactful as a receiver. I'm not the only person to say that. And that works out better for Travis's pocket. And I know some people are like, well, it kind of really don't matter anyway. Because, you know, he's going to get paid the same. It's all about where you get drafted. I guess that's true. And with that being the case, now down the line, when it's time for his extension, it's going to be a big difference, I would imagine, if he's a corner versus a wide receiver. But then maybe not, because then 5 years from now, you have the franchise tag. So I guess that's debatable. It says, since Mr. Sanders and Mr. Ward are throwing, that gives more opportunities for somebody to move up in a quarterback drills. Right, that's what they were saying. I think the headline said, Cam and Shedeur not working out at the combine benefits Jackson Dart. I'm like, why I gotta benefit Jackson Dart? It could benefit Quinn Ewers. I think Quinn Ewers could benefit from the combine. I do. His coach actually was interviewed recently, Coach Sarkisian, and he was saying that Quinn Ewers should be rewarded in the NFL. And I think because of his lower draft position, he doesn't feel like that's the case. So there's a lot of people with some feelings out here. He needs this time to prove himself, Mr. Milroe, because he had a rocky season in Alabama. This could help his draft stock, right? And we don't hear anything about him. I've heard about Ewers. I haven't heard much about Kyle McCord, but I have heard his name. Will Howard, I have heard his name. I have not heard Jalen Milroe's name. You wouldn't even know that he's participating in the combine. The names I've heard, obviously, Shedeur, Cam, Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, and Kyle McCord. I haven't heard a peep about Jalen Milroe. And I feel like, as a player, you got to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself out there. And if you were scapegoated, and you did have a bad game at Oklahoma, but you still were scapegoated, clearly, you got to do everything you can to offset the negativity that's coming out, because they going to drag somebody. And they not even dragging him. They just like, he not even there. It's like, I have to check sometime. Is he still going into the draft? Did he withdraw from the draft? They don't talk about it. They don't talk about it. We talk about it. We talk about it. Damon talked about it, but they don't talk about it. And I think that that's sad. So yeah, he needs to pop out. James said ESPN, Fox, and CBS and media outlets are partners to the NFL. When you slander your affiliation product in an up and upcoming draft, you hurt the process, right? But they don't care. It's true. You do hurt the process, but they don't seem to care. They just seem to have an agenda. Edge rusher from Penn State, who was #1 mock draft selection. Oh, you're talking about Abdul Carter, same Penn State who gets mocked up by Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Michigan at the line, right? And I heard another article today, another segment today, somebody was talking about it. Oh, Abdul Carter has the potential to be the #1 overall. I'm like, yeah, I know why they keep saying it. I know why they keep saying it. So I read somewhere they were like, Shedeur Sanders' potential #1 overall pick. And somebody was like, not only is he probably not the #1 pick, he's probably not the first Colorado Buff off the board. Again, this was from the same article that said, with Shedeur and Cam not throwing at the combine, this benefits Jackson Dart. They singled in. I'm like, all the quarterbacks in the draft, it benefits anybody else. It doesn't have to, I don't know why they do that, but that seems to be their horse in the race. And they trying to do everything they can to get it in that first round. That's exactly what it is. And I'm like, I already said I could see him going to the Giants for obvious reasons, but it's like they feel like they have to drag Shedeur down, act like Jalen Milroe don't even exist just to get him in the first round. And that's, why? Because he's fourth. Y'all said it yourself. Not a lot of teams are taking quarterbacks. So in the first round, it's really only 2 teams, right? So if it's only 2 teams, Tennessee and the Giants, and let's say they take, and I think a lot of people still think that Tennessee is going to take Cam. I think they feel like Cam should be the first person off the board. So a lot of people still feel they're going to take analysts, going to take Cam. That's why they trashing Shedeur. Because of the Giants got the next QB and they want it to be Jackson Dart, because if Shedeur or Cam, either one of them go to the Giants, that makes Jackson Dart a second round pick. And it seems like they not happy with him being a second round pick. They don't care about Quinn Ewers being a third or fourth round pick. They don't care about Dylan Gabriel. They don't care about Kyle McCord or Will Howard. It's got to be Jackson Dart. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And that's going to turn a lot of people off. Edge rusher from Penn State. Yeah, that's Abdul Carter. Do you think Shiloh will get drafted? I do. I said the second round. Could be late, but I do. And I think the pro day is huge. I think Shiloh is doing everything he can to understand what he needs to do from now until pro day, and you see him doing it. So, and let's be clear, Shiloh is not slow at all. He might not have 4.2 speed, but he's not slow at all when it comes to speed. Shedeur's fast too. I mean, they got it from their dad. They might not. Shiloh might not be a 4.2, but he got top speed too. How many times as Buck fans did we see Shiloh chasing down these receivers that were headed to the end zone? I'm telling you, he only had that one game where he was just rusty coming back off the broken arm. He might have missed some tackles here or there, but you don't get to be the hardest hitting safety in college last year and this year have an injury and come back and ball out, and was balling out before. We missed Shiloh when he was out. I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not going to say who it was. I watched people struggle trying to get some of these receivers that were headed to the end zone. And I said it, we need Shiloh back. I feel like that's why he came back. He came back 4 weeks early, I think. 4 weeks or 2 weeks early off of a broken arm. And people were like, why is he not wrapping up? I'm like, because he's still injured. But he didn't want to see us lose. You can't be mad at that. Media not uplifting the product, just slander. This is why I said it's the weak draft. People looked at me sideways. Not every day you see the lies coming out. I don't think the draft itself, I don't think the talent is weak. I don't think the talent is weak. I think what's weak is the analysts trying to conspire to drag one person and slander one person to try to get a second round pick that some analysts believe is a third round pick. You're trying to do all of this to get somebody to go to the Giants. That's really what you're doing. They never said they wanted him to go to Tennessee. They just want him to go to the Giants. I'm like, if that's who the Giants want, cool. And even if it is that's who the Giants want, there's no need for you to slander Shedeur Sanders because you want Jackson Dart to go to the Giants. That's between Jackson Dart and the New York Giants. I don't understand that type of mentality when it comes to professionalism, because that's not professional at all. I think we all can see through that. I think we all can see that was just a dog whistle. And a lot of people didn't like it. And I think that's why today the tone of their commentary was different. So yeah, Shiloh will get drafted. That's what Queen T said. Yeah, I think he's getting drafted. I do. Like I said, I think he get drafted in the late second round. I don't even know how many safeties are in the draft. I think one of the people I said, I don't even know if he really needs to work out. Do y'all think Ashton Jeanty really need to prove anything at the combine? He's right now predicted to go to Dallas, and Dallas has the 12th pick. But I don't know why I thought he was going to be inside the top 10. And maybe there's nothing he can do about it. What do y'all think about Ashton Jeanty? I don't think he has anything to prove, but y'all let me know what you think. And I don't understand how Dylan Gabriel was a Heisman candidate, but they suspect him late third or fourth round. Does that make any sense? So we're going to talk about that. Ashton Jeanty, do y'all believe he has anything to prove at the combine? I say no. Let me know yes or no in the comments. And then we'll talk about Dylan Gabriel. I'm getting ready to look up his draft prediction because I know they said third round, and I thought that was, I'm like, then how was he a Heisman candidate? They project Dylan Gabriel, quarterback for Oregon Ducks, is projected to be drafted in the 4th or 5th round of the 2025 draft. How? And Shedeur, who was a top 5 candidate, wasn't even on the stage. Can somebody make some sense of that? Experience. Gabriel has played under multiple head coaches and offensive coordinators and has shown the ability to adapt to different systems. Well, that should be a plus. Accuracy. Gabriel has a high completion rate and is considered to be a poised passer. His size, he's under 5'11", which is short for an NFL quarterback. How tall is Kyler Murray? Arm strength. Gabriel's arm strength is average at best. He may not be able to throw long passes consistently. Age, he will be 25 when he enters the league. Some analysts believe Gabriel could be a backup quarterback who develops into a starter. Teams like the Browns, Raiders, Giants, Vikings, 49ers, Dolphins could be good landing spots for Gabriel. I'm assuming that Oregon must have went with their running game because that is insane. Oregon Ducks standing. I'm sorry, I need to look this up. In the Big Ten, in football, Oregon is 9-0 in the conference. They're number 1 in the Big Ten. Number 2, Indiana, 8-1. Number 3, Penn State. Number 3 in the conference, Penn State, 8-1. Abdul Carter came from 8-1 Penn State. And 4, Ohio State, 7-2. I don't know when this was taken, but at the time, Oregon was number 1 overall in college football. So the number 1 quarterback overall from the team overall is going 4th or 5th. What do y'all think about that? I mean, honestly, Heisman candidate on the stage with Travis and Ashton Jeanty on the stage for the Heisman, but going 4th or 5th round and maybe could be a backup and could possibly improve to a starter. But Oregon was number 1 ranked in the AP poll and number 1 in the Big Ten. We got to talk about that. I will continue to say this draft is weak. Not much talent, but selection-wise, it is persuaded to these owners negatively. It's presented to the owners negatively, yeah. Owners are not football people. They just have the money and listen to the wrong people. Right, that's why the voice was collective. That's why the voices were loud. We shall see if it backfired. Thank you for that, James. We just gonna agree to disagree. I don't think draft is weak and you do, and I'm cool with that. That's what it's about. Kiel said the Raiders, the key to this quarterback controversy. Tennessee needs to give up that first round pick and deep down switch spots with the Raiders. Well, that's what I think they're gonna do. But here's the question. Okay, knowing the situation and seeing the negativity spew that a lot of people are not happy with, so much so that the tone today changed. The rhetoric today changed. The question is the ownership. I looked up the ownership for the Titans. It's a lady. She inherited the team. And Regina probably knows if she on who this is. Here's the question. We know ownership for the NFL is like a fraternity, sorority, an organization, a club, exclusive club. Okay, we know that, right? Now, take Jerry Jones out of it. Take the Jets out of it. Let's say the Jets we just gonna go to Cleveland because we can't get in this 3-way race. Tennessee and the Raiders and the Jets. So let's take Tennessee out. The Jets out of it because the Jets want to trade up. Now I could see easily Tom Brady and the Raiders going to Tennessee, ownership to ownership. I don't know what kind of rapport these owners have with each other. It wouldn't surprise me if out of the 32, if it's 32 teams, that it's a few that don't like somebody. Anytime you get that many people together, somebody don't like somebody. So I could see, just like the collective voices on the ground, meaning these analysts, are trying so hard to persuade and negate Shedeur's draft stock downward, that is it possible that there are some owners who can understand what Shedeur coming into the league and going to the Raiders means, what Cam Ward coming in and going, I don't know where Cam Ward would go, maybe to the Jets, what that would mean. I don't know the owners enough because I'm sure their heads are way in the clouds above what we got going on. I don't know how that works. I need somebody on the inside to say, oh, they just gonna listen to what this media analyst say. Oh, they might listen to Stephen A. Oh, they not gonna listen to Stephen A. They gonna listen to CBS. I don't know if it works like that. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't, but I feel like it might. Because why else would a few people try to band together to make a collective voice to negate Shedeur Sanders' draft stock if they didn't think something would come of it? So I know there must be some type of influence somewhere, just like James said. These owners don't really know football like that. They might have in-laws that do, but can they be persuaded by the negativity coming from the media? Now, the Raiders, I say no. I say no. But in terms of Tennessee, is it possible that Tennessee could be persuaded? Hey, no, don't give that pick to the Raiders because then Shedeur could go first and Travis could go second, and then Coach Prime would have the first and second draft picks just like he had 2 Heisman candidates. Is it possible? Is it possible? If you can conceive it, it's possible. So to me, that would be what would stop it from happening. Can I see Vegas going for it? Absolutely. Absolutely. I felt like they were going to go for it when Tennessee was going to use their pick. But once they came out, and they didn't have to publicly say they weren't going to use their pick. We didn't have to ever know that. The fact that they put that out there is what changed this narrative. And to me, the hatred was already there, but it's like full throttle now. Because, he could go 1. They was okay with him going number 2. They are not okay with Shedeur Sanders being the first overall pick in the draft. That is problematic for this little collection of analysts that were too loud yesterday. Loud and wrong and hateful. I stand by that. I agree. Ashton proved himself during his college career. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that Ashton Jeanty needs to do. I really don't. I don't know Abdul Carter, but he's not working out, so he knows, that there's nothing else for him to do. Cam, I don't know if he's throwing or not. One article said he wasn't. Another one said he was putting together combine throws. I don't know. Travis, I felt like would be the main attraction without Shedeur and Cam and Abdul Carter, because that's like your top 4 or top 5 right there. Well, top 4. So I was thinking Travis, would be the highlight of the show because it's, the fans gonna be there. So I was like, I like that aspect of it. So it said he should go to the combine, get his medical clearance, and do some interviews and wait for his pro day. Right. That's what Shedeur's doing. See, people think Shedeur not gonna be that out. No, he's just not throwing. He's still doing his interviews. In fact, he said he was looking forward to his interviews. He actually was saying he's getting ready to get his hair redone. He don't know how he's gonna wear it yet. But the point is, he's getting ready to go to the combine. He actually used those words. I'm getting my hair redone before I go to the combine. He's just not throwing. I've seen Shedeur throw so many times. I mean, I don't know what else you need. I mean, come on, It said, I am a Coach Deion Sanders fan, but I believe he needs to tone down when it comes to him being so loud and talking so much that there's different between. Yeah, but just because there's differences between black people and white people, he shouldn't. I think Shedeur is fine. I don't agree with that. I think what you're saying that I think, Queen T, is that because we're perceived to be what Kendrick Lamar said, too loud, too whatever, that he should tighten up. I don't think so. I think that was exactly what the Super Bowl was about. That's exactly what the Super Bowl was about. And Alabama State is actually teaching a course on that. I wish I could audit that class because I know it's going to be good. They said the syllabus is fresh out. So I was like, I would love to see it. But no, I don't think Shedeur needs to tighten up. I think as long as he has a positive attitude, he's just being playful banter. Nobody said Cam Ward needs to tighten up with his playful banter with Shedeur. I mean, and there was sometimes I was like, is Cam really friends with Shedeur with some of the stuff he be saying? But nobody has said that about Cam. So to me, people just want to put Shedeur in a box. That's it. The same thing with Shiloh. It's just, they just try to act like they dismiss him. So, honestly, I don't think Shedeur's fate is in the hands of these people who chose to be loud and wrong. Because if it were, I think they could have did it behind the scenes. You know what I mean? I think with other teams, it might be some influence, the rhetoric, but not with the Raiders. And I think him going to the Raiders or having the connection that he has with Tom Brady, I think is actually probably why he's okay. Even if the Raiders still pick different. What people don't understand is that's not going to stop Shedeur from getting drafted, because somebody made the point. They said, I do want you to know that he's not going to be there. If he's there when the Raiders pick, they said he's going to the Raiders. That's at 6. That's still within the top 10. The money's still good. So that's just hate, and it's just rhetoric. So the person that said he was going 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, y'all know what that was about. That was a wish, a hope, and a prayer. And they don't make those kind of decisions. But yeah, they were trying to rally themselves together and put up a united front to devalue his draft stock. Osakin, Bucky called it what it was. That's exactly what it was. So no, Shedeur don't need to tighten up. Shedeur's good. These loud, hateful analysts need to tighten up. That's who need to tighten up. Hey, 400 Circle Media. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think that Shedeur need to be no different. I think he's a great person. That's the crazy part. The person that they think is a good dude actually isn't. And the one that they want to drag is the one that you need, and the one that's actually good. Trying to make somebody live under a microscope is not right. Nobody makes them live under a microscope, but they think they have that ability to make him to, like, you know, oh, I'm a humble you. Who said he's not humble? That's what get me. I didn't hear him say anything wrong. Gabriel is not that good. The only reason he was a Heisman candidate was to stop Shedeur from being Heisman. Shedeur's stats was better than Dylan. Yep, it was. Just like Lamar Jackson was better than Josh Allen. So yeah, I said that too. So I agree with you, 22. It said he doesn't have the highest requirements that they're looking for to start as a quarterback in the NFL. Drew Brees was about his height, but you can't measure somebody's heart. So you trying to say the height isn't the issue. His heart, passion, or ability to get it done at this level is what's not there. That's what you're saying, Kiel? Queen T said, and coach speaking so loud, some teams know they will inherit Coach Prime. I don't see that being a bad thing at all. He's a winner. See, you know what I think people don't understand? Y'all never see the owners. You don't even know their personality. You don't know if they like to go hang out in the library, or, you know, if they like to go to the rodeo, you know, or if they like to be at one of these face slapping contests or MMA fighting, or they might be loud themselves. We don't know who they are because they stay out of the limelight. But people who generally bet against Coach Prime lose. And the only reason some of these teams are trying to say, well, we don't know about Shedeur because, you know, Coach Prime will come with that. Because they weren't going to pick Shedeur no way. I told you that was a setup for an okie doke pick. And you see what they're trying to do. And I don't care if they want to get Jackson Dart. It might work for them. But you don't have the right to tear down Shedeur just because you want to pick Jackson Dart. That's my whole problem with this. You don't tear down one person to elevate another. It never works. That's evil. So the Jets, we getting Deion signed. It's Deion's son. Thank y'all. The Jets actually want to get Shedeur. I don't know if I've seen Shedeur predicted to the Jets. I have seen Cam Ward going to the Jets if they trade up. I mean, I don't understand how people don't question why y'all not hating on nobody else. You're not hating. You only hating on one person, and you only trying to elevate one other person. Shedeur, Jackson Dart. That's it. You don't hear nothing about Cam. Jalen Milroe, I have to remember he's still in the draft, and they done dismissed the rest of them. Thank you. I said this past 12 years. Thank God. The Jets say we going up. I think the Jets might have a good year. I do. I really think that this might be like the Washington Commanders next year. What do you think about that, 400 Circle Media? So when Jaden Daniels was drafted, it was predicted by this longtime analyst who said he thought Jaden Daniels was going to be the worst quarterback out of the draft last year, which we know that's not the case. Then he came back and clarified that not because of his own doing, which means he's trying to say Jaden Daniels going to Washington would have been the reason that Jaden Daniels was a bad quarterback. So I'm saying, just like Jaden Daniels was good, the Washington Redskins were good, I think the Jets are going to be that type of team as well. Because it seems like, to me, Aaron Glenn has the ability to build the team that he needs to win. And that's what's important. That's what's important. Y'all see Cam and Mace up here because I started the podcast off talking about their little Cam not liking Cam not liking Ocho and Wide. That was hilarious. I just hope they get that together. So yeah, I think the Jets are going up. It said, but Shedeur, I want him to go to either the Raiders or the Cowboys. That's my pick. Well, I think we said he can't go to the Cowboys because of the salary cap. But yeah, the Raiders, I'm with you on that. I'm definitely going to be a Raiders fan. So for sure. I'm with you on that, Queen T. Tennessee doesn't need Mr. Ward. More picks can help them right now build their team. All right. Yep, you did say that. You did say that, Kiel. Shedeur said the Jets. Shedeur to the Jets. I don't see that happening. I just don't. I'm not gonna listen to no analysts when they're gonna listen. They're gonna listen to those scouts. Okay, so they're not gonna listen to analysts. They'll listen to the scouts. They're gonna watch the tape because the tape don't lie. Now that I know to be true because we talked about this yesterday. We talked about how after the game when the Ravens lost to the Bills, and I said, y'all don't hear them making any changes to the Ravens. They gonna stick with old buddy. Number 89, and I think that was his number. And what did the GM say? Because he knew people wanted a response from the front office. He said, "We've moved on." He said, "We've moved on. We're not making any major changes. I'm just looking at draft prospect tape." That's what he said. So I agree with that. They're looking at film. So okay, let's talk about that. So for somebody, these front offices are looking at film, right? Let's take Jimmy Horn Jr. We know Jimmy got the invite to the combine. We know he balled out at the Shrine Bowl. So much so that they were like, he didn't need to play in the game. Remember the actual Shrine game, the East-West Shrine Bowl game? He didn't have to play in the game. So we talked about him maybe going to Pittsburgh and some other teams, the Rams. I know the Rams seem to be hot on his trail possibly. So this is where you know that they probably been looking at film. And you know this of different people because they know they're going to trade Matthew Stafford. And we need to talk about who they're going to get. Are they going to get a veteran, the Rams? They already said they were going to part ways with Cooper Kupp. So you know that they're looking at getting somebody to replace Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Same thing with the other teams that are making decisions, you know, that they don't need this person, they don't need that person, they're not re-signing this person. I think right after Detroit lost, they got rid of a few people. They cleared people off practice waivers. They cleared some people who they had paid some good money to, some veterans. So they already knew who they were going to replace some people. So yeah, they're looking at film. But I do like the fact that it seems like they might be listening to scouts. And the ones that choose to listen to the media, that's what they want to hear anyway. And we know people tend to turn their ear to people that say things that they want to hear, whether it's beneficial to them or not. This wasn't the case in the 80s, wasn't the case in the 90s. Since teams went away from team beat writers that stay on college campuses and listen to media entertainment, this is what y'all are seeing. Oh, okay. It says since teams went away from team beat writers. Oh, I didn't know that. That's good insight, James. Thank you for that. It said those GMs will talk amongst themselves, okay, to see about cap casualties, free agents, switching draft positions, and what will benefit each other in the long run. That's what those GMs are going to do. Okay, so that's what GMs do. So that's who's making the decision, except for Dallas. because, well, Jerry Jones is the GM. So I understand what you're saying, and I like that. I like that. That's good. And if they like Jerry Jones, they're gonna make their own decision based on what they want to make the decision on. So it said Ward is going first. I think he might be. I just don't know where he's going. I don't know if somebody's gonna trade up for Cam, or if Tennessee's gonna go, you know what, we better keep this pick. I don't think Tennessee is taking a QB though. I don't know. They might take Travis. People keep saying they're gonna take Abdul Carter. I'm like, of all the help that they need, why would they take an edge rusher? Why would you leave Travis on the board, a two-way player, and take an edge rusher when you need a quarterback, a receiver, a defender, and this, that, and the other? So the whole Abdul Carter thing don't make sense to me. And instead of getting an edge rusher, wouldn't you just want to trade off that pick so you can, like Kiel say, get several picks? That's kind of where I'm leaning to. So to me, like Kiel said, Tennessee's going to shake this draft up with their decision to trade their pick. And I don't know if we're going to know that before the draft. I'm thinking not. They don't like his father. This is why Mr. Sanders is going through this. I think it's a little bit more than that. I don't think it's just about Coach Prime. I think let me tell you why. I think if they weren't trying to put Jackson Dart in the first round when he's after Milroe, I would say that, okay? But if you listen to the conversations that are being had, there's only one person that's being dragged, and there's only one quarterback that's being elevated. Not Milroe. I done said their names. Not Howard, not Gabriel, not Kyle McCord. And to me, I think people want Tennessee to take Cam because, I don't know. I knew people wanted, I know why. People want Tennessee to take Cam so Shedeur don't go first. That's it. Remember, I kept telling y'all, they don't want Shedeur to go first. They barely talk about Cam Ward. But we just want him to go first because you can't put Jackson Dart in front of Cam Ward. You can't open your mouth to say Jackson Dart should go before Shedeur Sanders. But I can block Shedeur from going first by sending Cam or Travis or Abdul Carter. Yeah, I can block. I could definitely do some blocking. If I can't do nothing else, I can do some blocking. To me, that's what it's about. It's really about, just like we said during the Heisman. Think about it. When it was time for the Heisman, what did we say? It looks like they're trying to do everything to keep Travis. And at first it was Travis. They didn't want no Colorado Buffs in the Heisman at first. Then it was like you couldn't deny Travis. And they tried their hardest to keep Shedeur out the top 10. But he got right into, I think it was 5. But how many people was on stage? 3. And I said back then, no disrespect to Dylan Gabriel, seems like a cool dude, honestly. But I said it seemed to me that they were blocking Shedeur. The same thing 22 just said. I said that back then. I said because it wasn't about Shedeur. It was about back then. It was about Coach Prime not having 2 Heisman candidates on that stage. That's what it was about back then. So if Kiel is saying this is about Coach Prime, you thinking they don't want Coach Prime to have the number 1 and number 2 pick, which is Travis and Shedeur or Shedeur and Travis. If Shedeur went first by way of a trade, because I think that's how it's going to go, Travis could go second to the Browns. I don't think I've ever seen a mock draft with that being the case. Shedeur by way of trade, first overall, Travis Hunter second to the Cleveland Browns. To me, that's the way it should go. But I've never seen one mock draft say that, which is crazy because that's a real possibility. Based on what we're talking about tonight, the Raiders trading up, that's a real possibility. They think the Raiders going to trade up and take Cam. I've seen that possibility. So, but they never even had Shedeur going to the Titans, which how you knew Shedeur wouldn't go to the Titans? So that's what a lot of this is about. It's a lot of blocking going on, whether it's for Coach Prime or whether it's to try to make sure the dynamic quarterbacks don't change to majority black. The point is, it's a lot of blocking and a lot of defaming happening here just to drag Shedeur down. I'm like, because to me, why they not dragging Cam? $400 say it don't matter. We need them. Yeah, it's a lot of teams need good quarterbacks out here. It says they know Shedeur is a top quarterback in this draft. They just don't like his dad. And Shedeur said he don't care about the numbers. He gets picked. He just want to go to a better team. And Shedeur did say, I think Coach Prime said this. He said Shedeur don't care about first, second, or third. He said Shedeur just wants to get drafted before I did. Coach Prime went 5th overall, I do believe. So he just wanted to go 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think we all know, Shedeur has an affinity for the Raiders, who are number 6. But I just don't see the Raiders staying put. I just don't. Something about the Raiders gives me, we trying to get this done. But I could be wrong. I think the Jets are the same way. I think when an analyst said, a journalist wrote an article that said it was ludicrous for the Jets to trade up to get Cam Ward. Why? Why not? That's what they should do. Because I could see Cam Ward, and I could see Cam Ward as a new Jet. I really could. I think that would be good for him. I think he would fit. I think they will build around him. I mean, why wouldn't you want to start quarterback? So when somebody said it was ludicrous, I thought that was ridiculous. That's the worst I've heard them say about him. But it wasn't about him, though. They just said that trading up wasn't good. I disagree. If they get Miles Sanders, yeah, it said the Jets, we're back. If everybody read Willie Lynch's letter, part 1 and part 2, they will see how this dynamic really plays out. They are like their parents. Some of us may have forgotten. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. We see Jerry Jones. 22 says, I've been watching this guy, Mel Kiper, for years, and he never get it right. People were saying that in the comments. They're like, y'all still listening to him? I don't listen to him, so I didn't know. I just had to read the comments. I read comments to try to get a consensus from various sources to see what's going on. Kind of like when you buy a new product on certain apps, I look at the reviews to see what people are saying, and I just try to get a consensus. Because if you have 45,000 5 stars and only 2 or 3 1 stars, then maybe their product broke in shipping or something. But that's what I try to do. I just try to get a consensus, and that's what people were saying about the Kiper guy. Just need a QB bad, not meaning good. What did it say? Oh, this just popped up. The NFL draft quickly approaching. This year's draft order is set with the Cleveland Browns holding number 2 overall pick in the selection. And there it says Shedeur is confident in the Browns draft day strategy. So see, I told y'all yesterday, everybody already know what they are going to do. These teams know what they're going to do already. The combine is not the first time they are looking at these very elite players. Maybe some of these other players out here. I don't doubt that. But I told y'all the top 5, they already know. The article I read today, it said it's normal for the elite, especially QBs, not to be there. That's not even breaking news. So he said he didn't understand why they were making a big deal out of it. That's normal. Because he said it doesn't even change the draft path. I'm telling y'all, these teams already know. They just got to keep it close to the vest. Who's not going to be that in the NFL? That's 400 Circle Media. Say he's not going to be that in the NFL. It's different. Who are you talking about? And Kiel said the Jets need a QB bad, not meaning good. It says, James, in what year and what draft have y'all seen this? RG3 and Andrew Luck. Nope. Josh Allen, Trey Lance. Nope. Bo Nix and Jada Daniels. Nope. Y'all inform me. When you say this, you talking about the type of the negativity that's being hurled at one person? Somebody did say Jaden wouldn't be good, but he did come back and clean it up and said not because of his own self. But I think that was because he didn't throw in a combine either. Shedeur said that the top 3 pick are going to be Travis Hunter, Cam, and then the next QB taken will be Shedeur to the Raiders because the 2 teams up ahead don't need a QB. Okay, that's possible. That's possible. That's why I said Travis might already know he is a type. Now, we know he's supposed to be getting married there, but I do think there's a possibility. There was a realtor when all of this first transpired in their relationship that was publicly after the OSU game. In the comments was a realtor from Tennessee, and she was like praying for their situation. I was like, So I don't know how far back a player would know. I don't even know if the draft order was set then because that was the last college game. No, the draft order was not set then. In fact, at that time, it was like the Raiders had the first pick. But it's possible, like, they've had meetings. It's possible he already had some of his meetings. The combine might not be the first place he's had meetings. I mean, you just kind of never really know about the inside information. Sauce Gardner actually told Shedeur at the NFL flag football game. He actually told Shedeur, QBs, y'all be knowing where y'all going. So, there you go. Okay, thank you, James. Thank you. So, there you go. I believe Shedeur is going to be going to the Raiders, and I think that would be a good place for him. I agree, Queen T. I think that would be an excellent place for Shedeur. The question is, are they going to trade up first? Are they based on what's going on and who needs? It's like it's only 2 teams need a quarterback before you get to number 6, unless the Browns surprise. But I don't think so. I don't see the Browns picking a QB. With that being the case, the Raiders really would not have to pick first unless the Titans trade their pick and it's an unknown team that have been discussed right now. Like, in other words, if it's not the Raiders, not the Cowboys, and it don't seem to be the Cowboys. So it could be the Jets. We could wake up and Shedeur Sanders could be a New York Jet. I'll be like, okay. Okay. I know the Jets organization will go crazy, but again, it was reported that they might trade up to get Cam. That's what I read. So, and that could have been everything we're talking about is speculation. Every analyst is talking about mock draft 2.0, 3.04, all speculation. The problem that's emerging, and it seems to have subsided as of yesterday, late evening, is that there seems to be a group of analysts who, in my opinion, conspired to try to hurt Shedeur Sanders' draft stock. And their tunes all mightily changed today. The tone of their commentary changed today. So I think somebody had some talking to. So we shall see. But I guess that gets us done for tonight. This was a good conversation. I think tomorrow, I feel like somebody's working out tomorrow at the combine. Is anybody planning to watch the combine? As it takes place live, is anybody going to the combine? Are you in the area, etc.? Let me know. Let's see. I think I knew. Well, let's see. The combine actually starts. Evaluation starts on the 27th. Press started today. Live coverage begins Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and it goes until Sunday, March 2nd. So after the combine is over, there'll roughly be 3 weeks to get ready for Pro Day. I think a lot of people are looking forward to Pro Day. Not just athletes, but quite a few people. Okay, so the reason I have Miss DeAndrea Sanders on the screen, besides the fact that her baby's a cutie pie, is so healthy and cute. Y'all know when babies are in that stage, they just got that cute look. And she's back doing her thing, because I did a video about it, so I just wanted to update it. She's back doing her thing. She's back hosting like events, conferences. That's her there. She posted it. I shared it as a post on my page. But I like the photo that she posted with the baby. She's feeding the baby. She looks good. She just looks like the mom that she'd hope that she would be. And I think that that's wonderful. People were gracious to her in her comments and encouraging her and actually applauding her for moving on. Moving on is not easy at all. But when you have a young child, a baby under the age of 1, that's fresh. That's the fresh stage in a relationship. That's the last thing that you expect to happen right after you have a baby. That's not even 1 yet. So for her to move on and to still be doing her thing, commendable. And that sends a message to a lot of women who are also in her same predicament, who think, oh, how can I make it? I just had this baby. What am I going to do? This situation isn't healthy for me. Should I stay and then it get worse? So to me, she's doing what she needs to do for herself. But the message is sending. There are women out there that will see this, believe me, that see her and will know that they can try to make it as well. They don't have to stay in a toxic situation. So shout out to DeAndrea Sanders. And that concludes our podcast for tonight. Thank y'all so much. I throughout the day put these podcasts together, so I hope y'all truly enjoy them. And I'm going to start to say goodnight. So thank y'all. Wonderful interaction and great insight per usual. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. Thank y'all so much. Have a good night.